folks, welcome on into the Pegasus Actual Podcast. Yeah, that would probably be needed. But yeah, I am now here because wow, I woke up a little bit late from a nap, and I was having a good damn dream too, and then Brightest ruined it because he texted me. But but anyways, here we are, and only managed to start 10 minutes late, or a little over 10 minutes late, which is good. And we have Arwen, and of course, we have Zach, the sassy Southern belle, the Miss I'm around every stream possible. Just look,
God,
yeah, she's all everywhere, folks. So we don't even have to do an outro for Arwen anymore. We could just like unfurl this long list.
My God.
Oh, we gotta give you a hard time, babe.
No, I know. If y'all don't, who will?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I know that Zach's doing pretty good. He and I have been messing around with our rogue stuff, and he's having a pretty decent work week, I hope.
No, there's no such thing.
Well, yeah.
Oh, God.
Sure. All right. Well, let's get on into our discussion tonight. I believe we are on episode number 8, and
Yes.
it's Sine K9 is the title of it. This is one of the better episodes. Hail, Captain Trek. Good to see you. Hail, Tequila. And hail, Adega Outlaw. And of course, my dear Janet from another planet. Oh, I absolutely adore you, dear. Janet said that I needed my beauty rest. I don't know if you're like kind of giving me like one of those like sly cracks that you throw out there, Janet. But I'll take it as a compliment. I love you.
Nah, Janet's good people.
I know. Oh, she
awesome.
is. She's an absolute doll. I love her. Absolutely. But all right. No, Hail Pacific 414. Great to see you. This episode is one of the better ones. I know this is one of the ones that I enjoy. We're starting to the pace is starting to pick up. We're starting to get into a lot of interesting things going on story-wise, because we're headed towards that back second half of season 4. So we're rapidly shooting through the action now. And we'll go ahead and get started on the discussion. Zach, if you're ready, take it away. Zach and Arwen will take you guys through the first few moments of the discussion here, and then I will join back in with them as soon as I get myself all prettied up for you. So.
Okay. All right. So as Drew said, this is season 4, episode 8, Sine K9. We open with a medical team rushing the wounded Natalie to the waiting care of Dr. Cottle, while Tom Zarek and the Quorum of 12 tries to make sense of the chaos following the base star's disappearance, wildly jumping to conclusions and grasping for any bit of information they can manage. Zarek attempts to get answers out of the Admiral, who, in his anger, refuses to make contact, and, following protocols, assumes the presidency in Rosalind's absence. Meanwhile, in sickbay, Natalie, drifting through various serene Cylon projections, flatlines on Cottle's table. The last thing she sees is the old doctor's face. Lee contacts his father, telling him that his silence on the matter has only emboldened Zarek's moves, but the Admiral will have none of it, hanging up before grilling Sharon on her actions. Unsatisfied with her reasons for shooting Natalie, he has the Cylon taken away and thrown in the brig, refusing her access to Hera, his harshest possible punishment. Back on Colonial 1, Lee informs the Quorum that the Admiral is unlikely to recognize Zarek's authority. This news plunges them back into chaos. And there we hit the opening credits.
Whew, starts out with a bang, doesn't it? It just seems like the past few episodes you hit the ground running with everything that's happening. And that's, oh God, this scene between Athena and Adama, I don't know why, but that scene just, every time I see it, it just strikes a chord. It is so powerful because we know the backstory about why she did what she did. But he's just, at this point, he's just grasping at straws. He's like, has everyone lost their damn mind?
And the short answer is yes, everyone has, including him.
Yep.
Because he's, you can visibly see it. He's unhinged. He's completely lost himself to his anger. And this is not without precedent, given his history with Model 8s on his ship and in the fleet. Like he's very much in like, is this a Cylon sleeper agent again? Are you reverting back to your programming or what's gotten into you? And he just is not satisfied with what he tells her or what she tells him.
Yeah. No, he's like another vision. Damn. And you're an 8. What? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't want to buy into that.
No, he doesn't. I mean, because he's had to accept, he could accept Rosalind's visions because there's a bond there, there's a relationship there, and he wants to believe her. Even Starbuck, he can accept things going on with Starbuck because there's a foundation. He has a relationship. He has a relationship with Athena, but there's always going to be that little shred of, well, she is a Cylon.
Mm-hmm.
And then this happens. And it's back to, she's gone from being Athena now to being a Cylon. And he's like, what the hell? What are you doing? And of course, Rosalind's gone.
Yeah, his anchor to reality just disappeared. And is assumed dead for all he knows.
So he's just unraveling. And he unravels really well. He does a great job displaying that.
Yeah, credit to Edward.
Absolutely. Oh God, when he walks over to her initially and she backs up a little bit, it just shows that characters, I mean, he's intimidating. They respect him, but God, it's like, okay, is he going to keep coming at me or is he going to stop? What is he going to do? And she doesn't know.
Yeah, and he does the worst possible thing too for her because she's like her sole focus, both in her explanation for her actions and when he's doling out punishment, is I want to protect my daughter. I need to be near my daughter. You don't know what I saw. You don't know what the threat was. And he's like, okay, since I don't believe you, I'm going to separate you from your daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, not my problem. You screwed everything up. And he's already, like you had mentioned before, he's already been there with an 8. And he's like, I'm over it all. It's done. So yeah, that's an amazing scene. I love that. Just the way they act it and just the writing. And yeah, you really see him going through some stuff because everything's just falling apart around him. And then you got the Quorum. They don't know what the hell's going on. And they're getting no direction from him. He's over it. He's done. He's like, I'm done giving direction. It's over.
They're a full coop of headless chickens. And Tom Zarek is, in true to his form, wasting absolutely no time trying to seize the power. Whether he has, benevolent reasons for doing so or not, he's like, okay, this is my moment.
Yep. He wants in. And Lee is trying to hold everything together. And he's getting no quarter from any camp. And he's just like, oh, God, Rosalind's gone. My dad's not working with me. Zarek is foaming at the mouth to take over. It is all hitting the fan. And nobody in this entire episode really gets a break. They don't really get any breathing room. It's time to act or react. But that's it. That's what they're taking out of it. There's no real sane, calm sense of direction right now. I mean, Lee is maybe the closest thing to it, but even he's kind of scrambling.
Yeah. Hail Zax. Great to see you, buddy. Um, yeah, this episode, it's like a chaos ride the whole way, isn't it?
It is.
So, alrighty. Where did you just leave off at, Zach? Like, what was the last
It's
major?
just before the opening credits.
Okay, we can go on if you guys are ready.
Sure.
After the opening credits, Ty briefs Adama on the tactical situation regarding both the Resurrection Hub and Starbuck's troubles in maintaining enough birds to defend the fleet. Meanwhile, Lee suggests that Zarek step down from the presidency, which causes him to lash out, noting that his status as a duly elected official is more than Rosalind can claim for her presidency. Lee suggests enacting a quorum provision that allows the Quorum of 12 to pick an interim president during a time of crisis to serve out the remainder of Rosalind's term. Zarek reluctantly concedes after Lee points out that Admiral Adama will never recognize Zarek, and they need someone who Adama will recognize. Zarek wishes him a fond good luck in finding such a someone. Broadcast among the fleet in a talk wireless interview conducted by James McManus, Tom Zarek indicates that the government post-fall is not a true government, but a tacit agreement between a military strongman and a political strongwoman to rule by fiat. Quote, Zarek also notes the creation of a civilian force to maintain order, noting that the government should no longer rely on the Marines of Galactica due to the last political upheaval. Lee Adama visits Romo Lampkin in his quarters, asking for the lawyer's help in searching for potential presidential candidates. Despite his initial refusals, Romo accepts to work pro bono in search of a replacement with the right skills and abilities that meets with the approval of both the Quorum, who themselves won't act since Zarek has them inhaling fear and exhaling anger, per Lee's words, and Admiral Adama, who is himself lost in his own anger and loss. Lampkin offers one more piece of advice, telling Lee that it's better sometimes to settle for what you've already got. And that is the end of Act 1.
Yeah, you notice, man. Yeah, Zarek is definitely like he's really angling for it, but he kind of knows that Lee's got his number, and he said, "Well, yeah, my dad's not gonna let that fly with you in charge, bro."
Mhm.
And
Nope.
he's salty, but he knows, but he's still there, like on the wireless, giving them interviews, like sort of on the DL, telling people, well, government's just a bunch of chaos at the moment, and we don't know what's going on. But he's trying to play it off, and it's like, man, dude is just so salty for power.
Mm-hmm. Well, in a way, Lee kind of proves his point because in admitting the fact that without Adama's recognizing his legitimacy, he has no power, he at the same time neuters Zarek's attempt at power and also proves Zarek correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a weird dichotomy to have.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much what the main thing I got out of that segment, and the fact that they were having issues, that sort of briefing at the beginning where Ty was explaining the issues of getting the fighters together for the operation, so you didn't even know if that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, when we say everything's getting kind of threadbare, I mean, it's not just the political side, it's not just the military side. I mean, it's everything. It's, it's the ships, it's the amount of fighters they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's, even the Cylons at this point, everything's just hitting the fan and seeing what's going to stick. What are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, technically, Zarek has a point where somebody has to step up and take charge because it is all crumbling around them. But he's smart enough to know, okay, if I don't have Adama's support, nothing's going to get done, and I won't get anywhere.
And this is a perfect example of nature abhorring a vacuum. In this case, a power vacuum.
Exactly. And if he can stay vice, or if he can stay at least where he is with somebody else under the title president, he'll have more power and he'll have more influence. But if he tries to push for that presidency and Lee's like, dude, it's just not going to happen, then he's not going to achieve anything. Nothing will happen. It'll just further fracture something that's already broken.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee's trying to keep everything together. So,
And honestly, he's the only one that has a real chance to, because none of the other Quorum members really have any connections that can really muster the kind of, military political muscle that Lee can, even with Lee's disconnection from the military.
Yeah, exactly. Lee will always have that connection because of his father.
Mm-hmm.
That will always be there. And he will constantly be in the middle. If he stays where he is, as he is like that bridge. Rosalind's gone. Take her out of the equation. Now you have Lee. What the hell's going to happen? How is he going to bridge these two worlds and keep everything from crumbling? And that's why he's scrambling to figure out what the hell to do. And I would be too if I was in his position. I'd be like, okay, we need to get a president, but we need to get a president my dad will work with. Otherwise, it's all over.
Yeah.
And he does not want to see that happen.
No, because it's likely if they pick somebody, they ain't going to be friendly to Zarek.
Yeah.
Or even not so much friendly, but someone that Zarek couldn't then outmaneuver. You'd have to pick someone strong enough to go up against Zarek, and that's probably a very, very, very short list.
Exactly. Someone who can stand their ground, do what needs to be done, and not fold to any pressure from either side. Someone who can be honest and who can be loyal and yet have integrity to say, okay, y'all, this is not going to happen if they have to stand up to the military. But yet at the same time, who's going to have the balls to stand up to the quorum and say, I'm not just a puppet. I'm here to do a job. And this is our survival at stake. Because they don't know where Rosalind is. They don't know what's happening. They don't know, are the Cylons going to turn and come for them? I mean, Natalie just got shot. She's gone. And even though it was a Cylon that did it, Athena is still, part of Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of them. So it is just a bizarre situation for any of them to be in.
Yeah, it's this is a crazy situation at the moment. So
Yep.
And that's understating it.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Let's go on, Zach.
Okay. Feel free to stop me. This is a long section. In the CIC, Admiral Adama, noting that the colonel has a rapport with Caprica 6, asks Ty to interrogate her about the resurrection hub. Before he leaves, Ty assures the admiral of his confidence that they'll find everyone alive and well. Ty interrogates Caprica 6 about what she knows regarding the hub. She tells him that only the hybrids can locate it, and then only after a jump. Ty doesn't accept the answer, and in his anger, lets slip that half the air wing and the president have gone missing. 6 manages to ferret out the fact that Admiral Adama's primary concern is for Rosalind, clouding his judgment. She then appears to Ty in the form of his dead wife, asking if Ty truly loves her. The tender yet awkward moment is interrupted by Condition 1 being called throughout the ship, followed by Ty gripping her by the neck and tossing her aside, calling for an end to her mind games. Ty reports back to CIC, learning that one of their missing raptors from the Rebel base star has jumped to the fleet. A raptor crewed by Racetrack and Skulls are en route to intercept the craft, which has not returned hails and does not appear to be emanating anything radiological, but is leaking fuel and air. Racetrack performs a spacewalk, discovering that the Raptor was jumped by its lone, now dead occupant, Junior Lieutenant Pike, who floats in the back compartment. We can pause there.
Yeah, I like how he thought he was going to be able to like jump back, and they were like, "No, don't do that." He wound up dead. Yeah, and then they find it, so they're thinking that they possibly got double crossed now, and it's just the situation is now getting exacerbated worse after this discovery.
Mm-hmm. It's just one more cherry on the shit sundae that they're going through. I mean, it's like, great, now we got a dead pilot. Where the hell are they? They're not getting any answers. They're just getting more and more questions. There are really no answers right now. And it just keeps snowballing and spiraling for all of them. That's why I say every single facet of this group is affected in one way or the other. It's powerful, but they're scrambling. They don't know what quite to do.
Yeah, I mean, this episode so far is like how much shit can go wrong all in a row.
Exactly. It's one thing after another.
But then throughout the minutes, throughout each scene, little pieces start to fall into place, which, as we'll get to, leads to a satisfying, if not wholly what I would expect ending.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. It's just there's this big buildup before they can get to that point. It's a roller coaster.
Good to continue?
Yeah.
The Admiral personally inspects the shot-up Raptor, having been retrieved and brought into the hangar bay. He finds the fire-damaged copy of Sea Rider Falcon, indicating that this is in fact the bird President Rosalind was aboard as she went to the Rebel base star. Ty informs him that the coordinates the Raptor jumped from have been retrieved, and Adama orders a search to that location, ignoring Tom Zarek's further request for a briefing. Lee and Romo continue their discussion on seeking and holding political power before they, out the window of Colonial 1, see Galactica jump away. We then follow the Raptor Squadron as they recon a debris field consisting of Cylon debris and damaged Vipers. Ty informs Adama that the debris consists of a Cylon base ship and fragments indicative of resurrection technology, and notes that they detected radiation from nuclear weapons. Adama refuses to believe that the destroyed base ship was the Rebels, insisting that Rosalind has survived. Adama presses on with the search until Ty points out that the fleet is left behind with their asses hanging out in the wind. Adama thus revises his orders to include only 4 Raptors to stay behind to search while they find something concrete. Galactica jumps back to the fleet as Zarek notifies the Quorum of Adama's decision to reroute all Tillium supplies to fueling the search efforts, along with requisitioning several civilian ships to aid in this endeavor. This leaves the delegates furious over having been politically bypassed. Back in Lampkin's quarters, he and Lee go over the list of potential candidates, among them Doyle Franks, who they note has no aspirations for political office. As they brainstorm, Adama nearly trips over an overturned bowl, resulting in his quip of, "Do you ever feed that animal?" and inquires as to where the cat might be. From Lampkin's perspective, we see Lance run around a swivel chair. Romo later begins to throw in the towel, erasing the names on the whiteboard, much to Lee's consternation. In sickbay, Admiral Adama consults Dr. Cottle about how Rosalind's sudden disappearance will affect her diloxin treatments. Cottle stresses that, with her weakened immune system and her cancer's ability to regroup, the sooner she's found, the better. The good doctor also teases a surprise concerning Caprica 6's condition. Afterward, in Adama's quarters, Ty reports to Adama about the Raptors' lack of success in finding anything about the whereabouts of their missing people. Adama replies that he's not interested in the search, confronting Ty about impregnating the Six and putting the fleet at risk over his weakness. Two more. After Ty broaches the topic of Adama's reckless search for Rosalind, Adama brings up the question of what Ellen Ty would say about the Colonel impregnating a Cylon, which results in a brawl between the two of them. After Ty's fall cracks the model ship yet again, the fight stops, and they both ask each other what they're going to do about their feelings for their respective women. And we can stop right there, because that was a great end.
Oh yeah, it's like I like how he found that one out, and he was like, oh well then, and
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to interrogate her, not pork her.
And he knew it. He's like,
Interrogate, is that what they're calling it now? Okay.
it's like, you think the guards don't tell me that every time you go there, you order the Marines out and you shut the cameras off? Really?
Mhm. See what I mean? Cherries on shit Sunday. They just keep piling up.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a pregnant Six. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's that weird thing, because he's had ever since then, he's had these weird, crazy, visions of Ellen in his head, and he's all the time, via the projection of these hallucinations that he's having, he's not really seeing Six for Six. He's seeing Six for Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and it's got him so messed up. He's just like, like acting on it, but he thinks she's like a completely other woman.
And the magnitude of two Cylons producing a baby.
Yep. That's what I was going to get at.
I mean, surprise.
Right, because up till now, we'd assumed that was an impossibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all that, they don't really, we don't really go into his thoughts on that. But I don't even know if he's thinking that right now. I think it's at least the impression I got when he's having that conversation with Adama. It's like, shit, I got found out. Number one. Oops.
And then Adama's like, basically telling him, you dumb fucker, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's a definite bro moment right there. Even to the point of what happens with them, and that's life. I mean, one minute you can be arguing with your best friend and I hate you, you dumb idiot. And the next moment it's like, oh, I got to repair my ship.
Do you know how many times I've had to repair this damn thing?
It's so realistic. And that fight, God, it staged so well because I believe they just beat the crap out of each other. I'm like, yeah, they went there.
Oh yeah,
So good.
And I can relate to that. I've had good friends before, where they done something stupid and we got an argument, and I've gotten in fist fights with friends, because 5 minutes later you're sitting there taking stock of what happened, having a fucking beer after you're nursing your busted lip. So I could relate to that.
And these two have been friends for decades. They've done this probably more than once over probably dumber things.
Yep.
Well,
it's like, we're not going to pull punches because, we're men. We're just going to go at it full force.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
By all means, sir, continue.
Pacing in the brig, an upset and alone Sharon Agathon hums a gentle lullaby to herself. In the passageways, Adama orders Kara to continue the search with additional raptors, to which she objects, citing a decreased cap, but her objections are overruled. As Adama watches the goings-on in a part of the hangar deck, Romo Lampkin joins him, with writs of forfeiture for him to sign. The captains of the ships Adama's borrowing do not want to be held liable for any wrongdoing that may occur in the rescue operation. As the Admiral signs the papers, he and Lampkin converse about people giving up hope when it is most needed, and while on a roll, he adds that Zarek is not the worst choice for president. Adama gruffly brushes him off thereafter. The Admiral confesses to his son in his quarters that he's lost his objectivity regarding the president, telling Lee to relay to the quorum his immediate relinquishing of command. In his quarters, Lincoln changes the search to find someone who best suits an ideal candidate, and, after hissing like a cat, settles on Lee. He leaves with Lance's bag and meets up with his compatriot, informing the junior Adama that the quorum has selected him to be the interim president, much to Lee's bemusement. Romo points out that Adama always wanted the position, which is why he had to cross out 47 candidates to prove it. Romo claims that he's the perfect choice for president, and, after pulling out a pistol, notes that he'll never get the chance to serve. And that is the break of the third act.
Yeah,
Mm.
this is really tense, and I wasn't quite sure the point that Romo was trying to make with this, but yeah, it's a really tense moment here. But there is a point to it, and I know after we get into a little more of the sequence when we come to the end, you'll see why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
But man, Romo's character is just so good.
I was really glad to see him back in this one, and we kind of see his journey in a way. I don't want to say too much till we get to the next part.
Yeah. Oh no, you're fine. Yeah,
we see him and what he's going through. I mean, I'm telling you, it's hitting everyone. I don't think there's anyone at this point who's not affected in some way.
We have this interesting shift now. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Where William Adama actually comes to his senses finally after everything, and from the outside realizes he's lost his objectivity. He realizes what others have come to grasp, and that he is so wholly focused on Laura Roslin that he's putting everyone else at risk. And that's a massive, massive thing for him to admit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's only a handful of times where he's even come close to, he's temporarily handed off command for various reasons, but this is a full, I'm stepping back now. He did what Lee did a few episodes back and just has wholly separated himself from his emotions.
And that makes me respect the character all the more, because he's like, look, I'm at my limit. I'm at my limit. I cannot be effective anymore. So instead of trying, I'm just going to hand it over to someone who can, because I have things to do. And the things that I have to do are to go after this woman and seek out this part rather than just try and stay focused and just mess everything up. Because sometimes we have to step back. If we're in a situation where we cannot do it, we've tried it, we try it. And it's like, look, I got to be honest with myself. Why the hell am I still trying? I cannot do this because my focus is over here, not where it needs to be. And that's Adama right now. And he makes that decision. And it may not be the best decision overall to some, but it's what he needs to do. And he's like, I need to get out of the way because I'm in the way. And nothing can function right now with me where I'm at. So I give that character mad props for that. I mean, it may not, is it the best thing? I don't know, but it's what needed to happen.
Here's a better question. Would it have been an option at all if at this point Adama had realized that Ty was a Cylon?
Yeah. Whoo. Yeah.
Because let's step back into Ty's head for a second. And Remember how he felt when he first, when they all first learned that they were Cylons? Like he's the one that was very adamant. Like, look, I am Saul Tigh. I am going to be what I'm going to be. But
Yes.
that question in the back of his mind of, could I do something to hurt the fleet is still there. So now
Of course.
to be given the whole thing is like, is
And
that
he
a thought in
can't
the
say
back of his head
anything.
still?
Yeah, he can't say anything. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, it is what it is. I am who I am, and now I have the fleet.
Yep.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh God, because if he had told Adama, oh, by the way, I'm a Cylon, I think Adama's head would have exploded all over the cap there.
Right.
All right. So let's continue on a little bit.
Yeah, we're waiting to get that reveal, man. That's gonna be nuts when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Lee faces down the gun-wielding Lampkin, who explains why the younger Adama is the perfect candidate and thus should die. However, Lampkin says that hope is the last thing they need, saying that humanity is a doomed race and should accept its fate. He then kicks over the duffel bag he's brought, which has Lampkin's rationale for his actions. Lee opens it, discovering Lance, who has been dead for weeks. Romo explains that those debased dregs of humanity killed his cat and are looking for a place to roost and rot again. Lampkin explains that the cat is immaterial, but it is the last physical connection he had with his wife. Adama assures Lampkin that everyone that survived had to make difficult choices, that there was nothing he could have done for his wife or his two daughters, Jennifer and Kate, noting that only a handful of people elected to stay behind on Geminon who were on Lampkin's shuttle during the fall. Lee manages to talk the man down in a speech about having to make choices about their own survival at the cost of other people's lives, urging him to put the past behind him and move on. Lee believes that he can make a difference in the fleet, a fact which Romo makes him swear upon his final word. We then cut to Leland Joseph Adama being sworn in as interim president aboard Colonial One. Attended by Admiral Adama, Torrey Foster, and Tom Zarek, in addition to the press corps, Lampkin listens to the ceremony on the wireless in his quarters. Elsewhere, Admiral Adama informs Colonel Tigh that he's stepping down as military leader of the fleet, promoting Tigh to admiral, as the colonel is the only person he can trust to command Galactica. Tigh scoffs at this, reminding of Adama of the last time he commanded the fleet. Adama notes that Tigh is a different man, who found out a lot about himself since that time. Adama tells Tigh to bring the people to Earth. As his last order, he orders that Hera be given back to the that custody of Hera be given back to the in the brig Sharon Agathon, expressing a need for everyone to have a family. On Colonial One, President Adama makes notes on a press release relating to an information and technical services upgrade, which he gives to Torrey Foster to correct. Romo Lampkin barges in, comically commenting that Adama already has a first pet. Lampkin is told of Jake's exploits on New Caprica, and Adama gives the dog to Lampkin, who hates dogs more than cats, as a new pet to loathe. President Adama then visits his father, who's packing things up in his quarters. The former admiral doesn't agree with Lee's thinking on retaining Tom Zarek as vice president, but Lee replies that he doesn't agree with his father's thinking on his one-man mission to find Laura Roslin. Adama recalls a good memory of one of his first missions, in space during the First Cylon War. Then, when pressed, admits that the reason he undertakes his current mission is because he simply cannot live without Laura. He has faith that Laura Roslin will get to the rendezvous point in some time. A flight-suited William Adama makes his way to his Raptor on the hangar deck. He is seen off by his son and adoptive daughter, the latter exchanging a well-worn, friendly exchange before he boards the Raptor. Adama asks for them to keep the light on for him, to which they reply in the affirmative.
No, and
Per
don't
Ad-
forget, he asks her, "What do you hear, Starbuck?"
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but the rain.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Per Adama's final order, Hera is reunited with her mother in the brig, who peacefully hums a lullaby to her young daughter. William Husker Adama launches from Galactica as Admiral Ty orders the fleet to jump. After the former admiral watches all the ships jump away, he sits in his Raptor and reads the burned, singed copy of Sea Rider Falcon as he awaits Laura's return. And that closes the episode.
Whew.
Yeah. Very, 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 very interesting stuff here. It's pretty touching. Um, One of the things that sticks out in my mind was where Lee goes and says, "Why are you doing this?" To his dad, and just the way that he looks back at Lee and says, "Because I can't live without her."
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
just,
That's powerful.
yeah.
And I mean, look at him. He's going on faith that she's still out there. All the time she's talked to him about having faith in these things, and he's just like, well, okay, I don't know if I'll have faith, but I trust you. But now he's having to have faith on his own.
Mm-hmm.
That's having to move him and spurn him to do what he needs to do. And again, him stepping out of that position, he's trying to help now tie threads together that were broken. He was trying to find her. He's trying to reunite Athena with her daughter. He's trying to put someone in command that he trusts, who he feels will do a good job. He's doing the best he can do right now, and he's trying to do right the best way that he understands to do it. But yeah, ultimately he loves her and he's going for her.
Mm-hmm. More specifically, he's waiting for her to come to him, because even though they found that debris field and they're like, oh, there's this huge battle took place and there's damaged Vipers flying around, he's like, no, they're alive. They won that battle. She'll come back.
And I'm going to be there for her when she does.
Yep.
And that's powerful. That is powerful.
Now, Fuhrkitten has an excellent comment there. An episode about the importance of love and trust. Bill and Laura, Athena and Hera, Carl, Saul, and the Six and Ellen, Romo and his family, the quorum and Lee, and the individual crews on the flight deck.
Mm-hmm.
Right
now they're all tied together.
Yeah, very interesting. And it's right now they're starting on a new era. I mean, even though that this is a temporary situation, it's very much the start of a new era, and they're going on as however they're going to go on, and we're going to find out a lot more, obviously, coming up in the next episode, because we've got some really, really action-packed stuff happening on the military side here in the next episode, as we get to see a bit more of talking about the attack on the Resurrection Hub. So that's going to be great. And I always love the action-packed ones, because I'm a, bang, zoom, shoot 'em up kind of person. But I really, really like this episode. And, and it's for the reasons. I mean, Fuhrkitten said it better than I could, because I feel it, because there's a lot of those moments in this episode. that also what I thought was really good, man, that segment between Romo and Lee when Romo was holding the gun on him was just absolutely great. And Hail Godzillionaire, great to see you, buddy. Yeah, it's just that was really great.
Yeah, man. Mark Shepard
Because
chews up scenery every time he's on screen.
Oh, he
dude,
does.
he
He
kills it
does.
every time.
Even
you
when he just
know,
does something like,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
that little
So
thing.
good. What a monster actor.
Yeah,
And
he's
you
always
know,
good. Anything that he's ever been in, and I've seen this guy in BSG. I've seen him in episodes of Voyager. I've seen him in,
Supernatural.
Warehouse
Supernatural.
13. I
Yeah,
mean, he's been in everything.
yeah,
Firefly.
yeah. He's been in everything, legit.
He's so good.
And Fury's right. Every episode with Romo in it is a winner, and we see him. This is still not the end of us seeing Romo around. We'll see him more, but
He's one of those actors that elevates.
yeah, he really does.
He'll elevate everything just that notch for you to go, damn, that was so good.
Yeah, the guy's a professional, man, for
Mhm.
sure. And he just has a way about him, and they really kind of found that when just in the whole on this show, many times over, they would pull in guest actors or actresses or people for limited arcs, and their portrayals of these characters just absolutely riveted you,
Yeah.
like the arc with Kat. Luciana Caro was freaking amazing. um you know God, I mean, they just had this time and again. But see, that whoever was the casting director for BSG, man, they were always going to bring it with talent, and they all did a great job of finding talent. Because my gosh,
And even from the outset of this episode, the death sequence of Natalie really speaks to Trisha Helfer's evolution as an actress over the last few years of the series.
yes,
Considering she started
Uh-huh.
from square one, from zero.
I agree.
yeah. And I mean, she just she's become now, like, I mean, an actress with real presence. I mean, she just
Mhm.
grew by leaps and bounds on the show. So yeah,
Completely agree.
but this episode particularly, I enjoyed the human element of it a lot. This is, as I said before, this is one of my favorites. And
Yeah.
then obviously I really enjoy the next one as well, because I like the more actiony stuff. But this is one of the more sort of dramatic episodes, and kind of more the human element side of things that I really enjoyed, because it was sort of frazzled chaos, but at the same time, man, there was the heartwarming stuff, and there's a lot to be said for that.
I like to call it contained chaos
Okay,
because
fair
things
enough.
did kind of, I mean, they're in a vortex, but instead of spinning out of control, things kind of came back together at the end.
Hmm.
And you can kind of see, okay, this is where we're going.
Yeah. So all in all, I think my estimation of this episode, I would definitely give Sine K9 a 9.
Okay.
I'm going to give it an 8, just
Okay.
because I felt like aspects of it were rushed. They
Okay.
tried to cram a few different things into this episode, but overall, it's a very solid episode.
Arwen?
I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
I'll give it a 9. There were some parts that really touched me, and parts that made me sit up and go, "Oh God, what are they gonna do?" Those episodes that keep my focus and my interest from moment one, where it's like I'm watching it and I feel like 15 minutes have gone by and then boom, it's over. I'm like, God, where'd the time go? That's it? I want more. Yeah, I definitely would give it a 9. I hated that the cat died. Oh, that sucked. But
At least they did it off camera.
they did. I was so thankful. I'm like, oh God, I didn't have
Yeah.
to say anything. I didn't have to, and I still got to see some of the kitty,
Um,
even though it was in his mind. I got to see some of it.
Yeah,
so-
you know, I just, yeah, as a kid, you know how we are, Arwen, with our kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So before we talk about what I'm sharing here, which is a minor thing, it's actually an interesting point that you bring up that his cat was dead, but that he sees it. If you go back and watch the episode again, there are scenes like right after he sees the first time you see the cat, he's talking and he reaches over and pets it, and then the very next cut, he stands up off the bed and the cat is gone.
It's gone.
So-
Yeah.
So once you
Yeah.
know that the cat is dead, if you go look, you can find little things like that where the little Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a good little nod of foreknowledge. The other thing I wanted to talk about is having just come from seeing Dune last weekend.
Mhm.
I wanted to point out that while the effects in Dune are so close to photorealistic, it's uncanny. You get a couple of good shots of the ships and the fleet in the tail end of this episode that show just how well some of the effects of this show have still held up.
Yeah, I agree.
Like sometimes it's not great, but
Wow.
yeah, hold on.
Oh, that's a familiar sound. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Go separate him, Zach. Go take care of him. Cat fight.
gotta keep them separated.
I got 12. I know that sound real well. They get their panties in a twist over nothing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just had to stick the dog on him.
Well, there we go.
Take care of them.
Mhm. That's why you have a herding dog.
Be the enforcer, dog.
Their dog herds cats. I love it.
Oh man, I wondered if this was, the shot close to when, the sort of sweeping shot when he takes off in the Raptor. Which, by the way, I like that little sequence, that symbolic sequence of Adama being back in the flight suit, and his first,
Yeah.
mission back as Husker, the
Husker.
pilot.
Yep.
That was cool.
He's kind of come full circle, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's
good to
cool.
hear him call it out again and to hear Ty
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It is.
So that's another thing I really enjoyed about that, and all in all, this was for me a very solid episode.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I loved it. I just loved it.
Yeah,
Also, I get to see the dog again.
Guy Lindo, we're just giving our final scores and kind of final thoughts, and then we're just about to wrap. But we are still here for the next 5 minutes. So, well. On that note, if you guys have any other thoughts, go ahead, and then we'll go ahead and do our outros and get on out of here. So,
I just can't wait to see what's next.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to what comes next.
And Zach, I'm sure you concur.
I do. Like, there's so many massive things that happen in the episodes that are coming. It just you can't, especially when you know what's
Right.
coming.
Yep.
I
But
know.
you don't want to say.
I know. And
Spoilers.
yeah, and we've done a really good job. I look back, through all the episodes, and not just us three, as a panel, but previously, like with Raquel and Steven and culture, and even way back in the early days with me and script doctor Brian the Gravedigger. It's we did such a good job of not letting spoilers slip too much on the show. And I've looked back through the previous episodes watching Pegasus actual, and it's just like, man, we're actually pretty darn good at that. Collectively. So props to everybody that has kind of been on the panel throughout the history of this show and managed to keep it pretty much spoiler free. I gotta say, I'm proud of us. And usually I'm like the most guilty one because I'm like, Mr. Give me spoilers, So yeah, Fairy Kitten, you have not played Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. I know Zach and I both have that game. It's pretty good. Janet, I am not going to go back to sleep. I'm actually probably going to wind up on comics this show not too far from now. Hashtag Dick's Division. I just got to go over and represent with my boys in a bit. I'm going to sit here and drink a cup of coffee and then head over there.
That's probably smart because you guys are probably going to be going for a while.
Yeah. Oh, Fury Kitten Deadlock's worth it. Very, very good BSG game. Definitely strategy based, but yeah, it's good. Yeah, Guylinda, it is on Steam. It was made by a small indie developing company, but they had got the license from Universal to do a BSG game, and they did a good job. I gotta say, the story's good. The missions are fun, whether you play against a computer or even if you do stuff against other people. It has surprisingly good multiplayer. But, you do have to know what you're doing strategy-wise if you're going to jump into multiplayer. I will say that. Because
Luckily, there are tons of videos out there that'll give you all the breakdowns you need.
Yes, absolutely. So it is definitely a good game. It's worth checking out. I cannot praise Battlestar Galactica Deadlock enough. That it is one of the best representations, I think, of the Galactica verse.
Mm-hmm. So, and I believe it's canon too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. The first Cylon War stuff in there is now canon. So, all right. Well, let's go around and we'll let everybody do their outro. So you guys know where I'll be, but let's pass it on over to Arwen and let her talk about where she's going to be.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be stopping by in the afternoon Loki's birthday stream and saying hey and wishing him happy birthday. Let's see. Saturday, I've just recently been added to Heirs of Chaos's panel for her Saturday afternoon show at 3 Eastern, and then I'll be on T-shirts The Week in Geek at 5 Eastern on Saturday. And I'm hoping to make it to karaoke Saturday night. I've missed the past 3. I've had stuff going on, but I'm hoping. And then
Social
Sunday,
butterfly.
yeah. Sunday, Fan Fantasy Story Ideas at 4:30, and then that night, Mark B with the C.
Yeah, so you talk about having coffee, folks. That's this lady in between streams.
Yeah. And then I usually do my schedule on Mondays, but of course, for sure, Pink and Purple next Wednesday at 5.
Yeah.
And then, of
course, one of the best shows on YouTube, I might add.
Thank you.
You and Purple are doing really awesome with that show.
I love working with her. She is amazing.
I catch it a lot of times on the replay, but it's rapidly become one of my favorites. And
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just doing awesome with that. So
thank you.
Props to the both of you.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah, make sure that you catch Arwen around, guys. She's doing a great job. She's definitely she is more than put herself on the map. She is there.
Thank
So,
you. I'm having a good time, and I love this community with all of my heart, and I genuinely mean that. Y'all are all such amazing people.
and we have Zach, Mr. Brightest Day.
Yeah, meanwhile, every panel I want to be on is either while I'm at work or while I'm sleeping, getting ready to go to work. So that's my career in a nutshell.
But you made it to Tuesday, because if you guys do check out this stream we did this past Tuesday, Zach has now become a regular on my Tuesday stream, on the political stream, which is awesome.
Yep.
So I love having him on there now.
Yeah, it's good having that chance to get that outlet and not have to throw it on my own channel.
Yeah. Hey, let me take the bullets, my friend. So yeah, he is on Rogue Resistance with me every Tuesday. Thanks to Helium, because I was having a senior moment.
Yeah, my friend Macklin makes the good point. Tuesday night is easy because I don't work Wednesday, but every other night it's like I gotta get up and work the next day. So
yeah,
we'll see how much longer that's a problem.
Yeah, well, keep the faith, my friend. You are fighting a good fight, sir. Yep. Yeah, indeed, Becky. Let's go, Brandon. All right. Well, make sure that you sub to these wonderful people. Sub to Arwen, sub to Zach. Also sub to Tehillim. I know that he's building his channel up. And thank you again to the chat. Without you, there is no us. It's great to see everybody. Love you guys. Love the dedicated turnout we have every week for Pegasus, because, talking about Battlestar Galactica, it really is an escape for us. And it really is something genuinely fun to do. The show that is genuinely awesome to watch. I think it really and truly, that was the last, to me, great representation of sci-fi that we had, before all the shit. And I'll stand by that. I mean, there's been a few notable exceptions, but by and large, BSG was it. And so it's good to go back and revisit this every week. And I couldn't think of any better people to do it with than with these two wonderful friends of mine on the panel, and also with you. So thank you for your continued support, folks. Love you big time. Absolutely. So till next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and much love. So say we all.
So say we all.